Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Been out of these streets, nigga trying to eat while I duck police. Own family stealing from me. I'm on the phone, be to pray, but white Jesus can't save me. Get him away from me. I don't know what to say. So many niggas hating me. Get them away from me.
Always up on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome. Always up on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Always up on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I ride around with my chrome. Always up on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I ride around with my chrome. Tryna keep it on the true side, nigga. Laying low to play it cool now, nigga. Ass niggas on the team, I've been known to get the green ever since I was 2-5, nigga. Coop hanging out the roof, nah, nigga. Cause I ain't stunting on them. Put my whole team on so they ain't wantin'. When niggas doing bad, you know that they be hating on you. Get the hoping that you fall, they be waiting on it. Bullshit get bread from the envy. Best friends get to looking like enemies. When you got it in this bank account empty. Perfect recipe to breed a lot of jealousy. Looking from a bird's eye view. Learn from everything I've been through. Told my baby girl, if you ain't spending life with the nigga, never let him put a dick up in you. Cause if a nigga wrong, I'ma check that shit. And when you paper long, never flex that shit. Told my son, when you getting money, never trick it to a bop and flip it over, then invest that shit. Give a lot of game, trying to bless my kid. Gotta keep it real, that's the best shit. Got hitters up and feel it back in Texas. When I get up on the track, yeah, I wreck shit.
Always up on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome. Always up on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Always up on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I ride around with my chrome. Always up on my own. Don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I ride around with my chrome.
Hey, I'm just following orders. Let me get one of those slow motion pictures, bro. One of the slow motion pictures.
You gotta shoot at 60 frames per second.
Come on,
They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move and coach shit. As if they make the wrong move and coach shit. You see me, they like, ooh, keep on shopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hear that raw shit. Coming up on by the bullshit. They see me, they like, ooh, keep on shopping. I'm on my body, real niggas right beside me. Damn right, I brought my army. Going up like a rocket, and can't nobody stop me. These niggas garbage, so watch your mouth, boy. Coming all black, slithering house, call me mouth, boy. I'm off the hip like a cowboy. I'm a king, you should bow, boy. So they like, damn, man, you cut up. Nothing I can handle. 144 in the booth, going Rambo. Niggas do you dirty like a stick in a bando. That's why I play the corner like a bum with a banjo. I'ma lead by example. Sabe got this bitch off the hand, got this juice, got the drip, about to hit the bitch with the salt. It ain't rap, it's assault. Can't taste a bitch unless you with the coke. They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move and coach shit. As if they make the wrong move and coach shit.
One way, one way, one way, one way, one way.
I do it how a veteran be. You better than me. I'm Reggie at the edge of the key. It's all money, no honey. Think you settling? See, you locked up, fucked up, and it's back to the street.
stage real quick so y'all can see what's going on. I'm gonna go ahead and check and see if we got any comments. Anybody that said anything into the microphone or Salaki, the microphone. If anybody joined us, we got Just Art and Paint. Shalom, sis. Appreciate you joining. We got Trooper Nahalia. Shalom, Yahaba Shim Yahashab Rakatha. Coming out of Wilmington, Delaware, checking in for class. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Officer Quahal. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yahana. We've been called to teach the so-called Blacks, so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, or so-called Native American people that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you know, I normally go into it and say why we do that. And I will this time as well. But one of the main key things that we as people need to understand is everybody else has their nation. I want you guys to pay attention to that. Even though we might not touch on it too much today, every single person has a nation, whether they be from an Israeli nation, whether they be from the Palestinians, whether they be Africans, the many countries on the continent of Africa, Asians, whether they be Korean, Japanese. They all have their nation. They can revert back to their land and have a sense of home. They haven't been destroyed. And as Captain Tazaiwan pointed out, it's called group cohesiveness. A lot of Black people want to steer away from that because it seems as if we don't have a nation as Black people, and they want to hold on to anything they can. Coming up in the 80s, early 90s, a lot of brothers wanted to be Chinese. With all the kung fu movies out. I remember I wanted to be Bruce Leroy when I was a kid, who was a character in some movie. Then you got the guys that want to be just some other nation, whether it be an Arab because they want to be a Muslim, just anything but Black. I think Kevin Gates said this, and I'm not quoting him, but I think he said the only thing worse than an N-word is two of them. He said if he comes back, he doesn't want to be Black because it's really nothing good about it. And his, religion is a Muslim, so he would rather be an Arab than be a brother. And being a broken down Black man that's been beaten to powder in this nation to where every single thing is negative about you, by and large, I understand where he's coming from, but we got to start being stronger and seeing through the deception. First thing I want to kind of talk about is, of course, Ukraine. It's getting overshadowed in recent news with the Palestinians and the Israelis. Brief recap: group called Hamas, that is pretty much the main political party in Palestine, launched an attack. Kidnapping and killing people. Israel responded by an all-out onslaught. Like, they've killed 10,000 people. They've destroyed their neighborhoods. They've turned it into, a freaking parking lot. And you have to see through that. There are victims on both sides, and there are assailants on both sides. But if you, Salaki, go ahead.
He said there's no sound.
Oh, it's no sound. Let me see. You're not telling me I went through all of that.
I know, I'm muted. But
you're muted? Okay, let's see. I see the levels coming up. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and see if you can hear me online real quick.
I can hear you.
Testing. All right, let me see. Trooper Nahalia, try to reset or refresh your page. Maybe that'll help. But it looks like, let me see, looks like everybody can hear us. Real quick, we got Daishani Small. Salaki, if I mispronounced that name. And we still good on the sound?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm not sure what's going on with the sound. Anybody else have any trouble? Let me know. Trooper Nahalia, if you could, put a 1 in the chat once you're able to hear me. So what I was saying was, there are assailants and victims on both sides. and that's their problem. They should handle that over there. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we should worry about our own problems. When your neighbors that you don't know that well or are next door going at it, you should stay out of it when you hear yelling and screaming. Like, don't go over there bothering them. You don't know them that well, and you end up in the midst of it, and the police get called. And then you're in the midst of it, or they don't like you and they end up turning on you. One of the things I brought out the last time I was teaching a couple Wednesdays ago was there are Afro-Palestinians, which are just Black people over in Palestine, over near Israel. And they say they experience hatred from both sides. They said they're being doubly discriminated against. So you have the Israelis who are so-called oppressing the Palestinians, and then you have the Palestinians who are trying to fight back, but an Afro-Palestinian in the middle, they get just disgraced on both sides. So one of the things I wanted to bring out with, did he put a one? Okay, he said it's Tawad. Most High Christ, Tawad, Hebrew. So one of the things I wanted to bring out was our problems don't get addressed. We have a lot of issues that happen, and the only time we really get behind each other and do anything is when it's a popular opinion. When's the last time there's been something on the news or a big march about, unarmed Black man being killed? I noticed when the Democrats were revving things up and trying to get in office or trying to be political, that's all we saw from the news outlets that are like a strong arm or an outreach from them. They were able to use those media outlets to kind of propel them to get the Black vote. But we still get mistreated day in and day out. The racism hasn't gone away. It's actually increased. There's a couple of things I'm going to bring out tonight that shows that systematic oppression and racism is causing us issues, and it's raising issues with us today, and it's getting worse. 75 billion was given to Ukraine. If you can throw up Vladimir Zelensky, I put a post up on my Facebook page, but I believe my Instagram, it got taken down for some reason, but he's begging for money. Zelensky, president of Ukraine. And this is a dude that was an actor on Dancing with the Stars. But right now he's in a dirty t-shirt and he's begging for money. And you'll notice that he's received 75 billion. That's him right there. That's Vladimir Zelensky looking like he's, dancing saying, Kiki, do you love me? Like Drake or something. But Ukraine, since the war has started, which has only been the span of it's been like a year or something. Has it been a year yet?
I don't think it started in October.
October?
You're
No.
talking about Israel and Hamas?
No. Ukraine and Russia. How long has that been?
Yes.
That's been about a year, right?
Yes.
75 billion they've got. Do you know how many problems that Black people have had over the years, and within that time span, that amount of money has not been given to us? I don't believe I covered this in class, but there was a situation where there was a town that had like an all-white political party that was running things. They ended up, the Black people of the town, since it was predominantly Black, ended up getting them removed because of too much misappropriation of funds. They ended up getting a deal and was about to strike a deal with the town. A white guy was able to come in, take all that away, say there was misappropriation of funds, and he took the deal, and not a Black town didn't get to get it. After they fought so hard and removed the people that caused the issue, he used that as an excuse to take it away from them. There's times where Blacks do step up, but they're thwarted, and it's because they don't have the Lord with them. Flint, Michigan received over about 9 years around $360 million. You would think that's a lot of money, but that's over the course of 9 years. The mayor of Flint, he can't even tell you what work has been done to Flint, Michigan so far. The mayor can't even tell you, what's going on as far as the percentage. He'll just keep saying 90%. There's people over there whose children have not been able to yet brush their teeth in Flint, Michigan with water from the faucet because things are corroded, things are dangerous. 75 billion versus 360 million. They both seem like high numbers because, hey, we're poor. But $75 billion versus 360 millions. How many times do you think 360 million can go into 75 billion? 208 times. So over the course of however many months, maybe a year versus 9, they've received 208 times the amount. Salakia, let me get, I believe it's in Ecclesiasticus, because we got Zelensky begging for money right now, and he's asking for it. And it seems like it's a good reason, right? Let me see if I wrote that down somewhere. It would be in Ecclesiasticus. Salakia, bear with me one moment. I know I wrote it down. Salakia, one moment. I'm just going to pull it up real quick. I'll tell you where it is, and I'll get back on topic. All right. One second. Salakia. So he's begging for money, right? But when we are told, and it's Ecclesiasticus 40 and 28, but when we are asking for money wholeheartedly with the situations that we're having, we get told to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. While this guy who was on Dancing with the Stars, who has nothing to do with this country, this guy that was literally posing with hearts, dancing in pink apparel, has a country that used to be a part of Russia that it seems like, you know, with him being an actor and with him being a dancer, that's the type of person a government would put in to be a puppet. Now we have to shell out that money. Our tax dollars are going to the Ukraine. They're also going to Palestine and Israel. So at the end of the day, we should stay out of it because we don't receive funds from them. We actually receive the opposite. We receive go back to Africa. We receive crumbs. $75 billion is an astronomical amount of money. Then you have, black people who you say, yo, we never got that. They'll say, oh, well, that's in aid. That's in equipment and war stuff. The money had to come from somewhere, Smarty. Come on, brother, put your head on straight. Let's read that verse.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 40 and verse 20. Wine and music rejoice the heart, but the love of wisdom is above them both.
Salakia, Ecclesiasticus 40 and 28.
28.
Count out on one count, sir.
Verse 28. My son, lead not a beggar's life, for
go ahead.
Better it is to die than to beg.
For better it is to die than to beg, because when we're begging, we're asking our enemies for something. And do you know what we get? We get dirty water in Flint, Michigan that's killing our children. When we ask for, when we beg from a community standpoint, and we say we have too much crime, which is actually caused by the oppressor. The crime and the situations are caused by the oppressor. We beg for that. They put police in our neighborhood that brutalizes. I just watched a video of a black man being tased and had his face ground in the cement. The police were called. He had nothing to do with the situation. Officer saw him in his mailbox, pretty much looked at him and was like, I'm going for him. While the person that called him is yelling, he has nothing to do with the situation. Our leaders in our community, we begged for them for their help. And then that's what we get. We call the police ourselves and get treated like criminals. Let's read that again from the top.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 40 and verse 28. My son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg.
A lot for that. I'm going to go ahead and read a couple of things because we're told to pull up ourselves by our bootstraps, but I've been doing the research and I can see that clearly we have been put in a situation to where it's damn near impossible to get out without the help of the Most High and having brotherhood and sisterhood.
Exactly.
This is the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities. This is this says there's a record rise in child poverty. We're sending money everywhere else, but there is a record rise in child poverty. Who would you guess it affects the most?
Israelites.
Absolutely. So the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, they're the nation's premier policy organization workers. So like you're working with the federal government and state on fiscal policies, programs that affect low and moderate income families, just to give you a little history or, background on who they are. They have an article, and I took a blurb out that article for time's sake. It says the increases in poverty among Black and Latino children were especially large, with Black child poverty rate rising from 8.3% to 18.3%, and Latino child poverty raising from 8.4% to 19.5%. You have these percentages raising up, and then you have our money that we work hard for being sent somewhere else. Nobody is enriching the ghettos. We have so many celebrities. We have so many people who have influence, who have power, that could actually say or do something on a way higher level than they're doing. Not these little, I don't even know the word for it. It's just insignificant. Not these little insignificant things that they do to where it just means nothing and it's hope. It's like a statue of Martin Luther King with arms that look like a phallus. That's not anything that can help us. Right. A statue cannot feed our children. They're in poverty. A statue can't give us clean water. We're in poverty. And why are we in these situations? Let me get Deuteronomy 28:16. Because at the end of the day, this was prophesied that this would happen to our people. We give Ukraine funds. We give Palestine funds. We give the Israelis funds. We give, who else? Who am I missing? Ukraine, Israel, Palestinians. Anybody that needs it around the world, they're getting our money. I see Save the Children in Africa, flies everywhere. For just 10 cents a day, you can feed a child. Right. And then I look at some videos and I see Africans aren't living in huts. They're living nice. And they're starting to kick out oppressors out of their land. We don't have the power to do that because we don't have any representation in the United Nations. What we have is a situation to where we have to beg. We have to plead. We have to beg for justice. Hey, you guys are killing us. Can you please arrest and put away the people that are doing it? What does the oppressor do when they feel like they're being oppressed? I will always think of this and always say this. They're going to run into state-owned buildings and they're going to take craps on desks and run towards bullets if they feel oppressed. If they feel like if they lost an election, if they feel like they're wearing a mask too long, if they feel like COVID-19 is fake, they're going to lose their damn minds. We, on the other hand, we're going to march in the streets. We'll get, tricked into, rioting and throwing bricks because of Antifa, but we're ultimately begging. Why is this happening to us? Let's read Deuteronomy 28:16. Or let's see, Salakia, the situation behind what's happening. It's because of a situation that's happening. Go ahead, sir.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So in the city, there's bad water. In the city, there is shootings. There's certain places where you can't walk a city block without getting robbed, shot, harassed by the police. That's a curse. Continue.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
In the field. Let's imagine that you go to work and then you get laid off because Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the first fired and the last hired. I've seen situations where people have not been, they have a name that, of course, they're Black. It's something that, we like to name our children as Black Americans. It may not necessarily mean anything, but a name like Jakeem or a name like Janiyah, Shaquisha, Shaquita. I like the way it sounds. It may not mean anything, but they see that on a resume, they don't hire you. There was a lady that showed that when they changed their names, they immediately got the job or an interview with the same qualifications once it appeared to be a Caucasian, if you will. Right. Continue.
Verse 17. Cursed shalt thou be thy basket and thy store.
What you have as far as food, as far as finances, is going to be cursed. I just read that there is a damn near 10% rise in Black and Latino child poverty. Any more on that? Thwada for that. Let me get Amos 3 and 2. And I'm going to explain why this is happening to us. Because as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we truly are the children of Israel. You can actually look around and see that there's nobody else that fits the description like what we go through in the Bible. If you think the Israelis are actually the children of Israel, just understand that they have the power to send rockets and level whole countries. They have something called an Iron Dome. It may be a little defective sometimes. I saw they're having a little issue with the Iron Dome, but I don't have an Iron Dome to protect me from the police. Kaash doesn't have an Iron Dome to protect him when a brother wants to beat him upside the head because he's been working hard on his job. They have protection. They have been oppressing people. They're not the children of Israel we are. It says the meek shall inherit the earth. Let me get another statistic for you. This is the National Alliance to End Homelessness. This group is tasked with, and I wouldn't say they're a grassroots organization, but they're an organization addressing the issues of homelessness. The Alliance provides data research to policymakers and elected officials in order to inform policy debates. So they pretty much let political entities know what's happening as far as data is concerned, with homelessness. It says most minority groups, especially African Americans and indigenous people, experience homelessness at higher rates than whites, largely due to long-standing historical and structural racism. This was a recent article that's put out. I have named Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You can clearly see that we're cursed in the city, we're cursed in the field, and in our basket. We're cursed. Let's read Amos 3 and 2.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
That's the reason why Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were suffering what we're suffering, because our forefathers had a covenant with the Most High God, and they broke that covenant. The Lord doesn't know any other nations. The Lord isn't offering his protection to everybody else in the world. He's offering it to us. And if we listen to his voice and we do what he has asked us to do, we'll be a lot better off. And all those curses will turn into blessings. And everybody that has afflicted us will pay exactly what they need to pay. They'll pay what they owe. I was asked a question, and with everything going around in the world, you get some crazy questions. Can you think of the craziest? You were just talking to me about a brother, with these questions or these statements that they have saying that you said Osiris was what the brother said. Yeah, some brother was talking about Osiris and whatever else. They carved the Grand Canyon and built a monument there. Or there's other silly things that are being said, like America is physically Egypt, when the Bible says that it is spiritually Egypt, not physically. This is not Egypt. Egypt's over in the Middle East, brother. Like, what are you talking about? Like that's an easy find. But brothers get so deep, and they get so influenced by, lack of a better word, like this jail intelligence, to where it's like you may have started trying to open your mind, but you're fogging it up with marijuana and you're not going to the proper sources. And then you got Salakia. You almost went there. You got stuff going on where you want to be, highly intelligent. Like, I don't understand. I overstand. I don't say good morning, because when you mourning, you're in sadness. Like, brother, what are you talking about? You deep as a puddle. You're confused. You don't know what's going on. But I was asked a question, and can I get Proverbs 29 and 2? And I was asked this question when I didn't know about the Bible, because I thought Christianity was the answer. I thought Christianity on a church where God was. And you get so indoctrinated in Christianity, you don't fully understand how much you don't know about the Bible.
Right.
You just have these programmed responses. Like, why is the world the way it is? Oh, because sin crept into the earth. What you got to do to be saved? Believe in your heart that, Jesus is your Lord and Savior. And confess with your mouth. When you're forgetting key parts that in order to gain the kingdom, in order to be saved, there's other things you have to do, like follow the law of the Most High God.
Exactly.
So I was asked, why do babies die? I didn't have the answer years ago. I'm like, what do you mean? Is that ever going to change? I would have given them Amos 3:2 or Salakia. What is the verse? And I have it written down when it says when the wicked bears rule. But Salakia, let me go to that one first. And I'll go ahead and read it. You can hold that there. All right. And Salakia, it is Proverbs 29:2. So let's read Proverbs 29:2.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
So when the Israelites, the Blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans, when the children of God, when the priests and prophets of the Most High, what's another name? The kingdom of priests are in rule. Everybody's going to rejoice. You're not going to have missiles flying from right next door. You're not going to have bad things happening to children.
Right.
You're not going to have situations to where you can just go on a site and see, and I'm going to get into that as well, all type of obscene things, because the righteous will rule. But continue.
But when the wicked bear rule,
when Israelis are ruling, you're going to get rockets on your head.
Right.
When the Palestinians have land, even though they're getting oppressed, Afro-Palestinians are going to get oppressed. When the oppressor over here in America is ruling, you're going to be in a situation to where Black homelessness is on a rise. You're going to be in mourning. You're going to be in a situation to where in Flint, Michigan, you can't trust to drink the water. You're going to be in a situation to where brothers and sisters are running around with guns ready to take what you have. Read that part again. Salakia.
When the wicked bear rule.
Count out on one concert.
But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
We mourn. There's no reason for your child to leave home and not make it back home from school.
Exactly.
When the righteous are in rule, there's no reason for that. But when the wicked rule, that's what happens. There's no reason for there to be a situation where there is a site that is on the web, not the dark web, but a site that shows child abuse and non-consensual sex, which is sexual assault. I don't believe we can say the R word, but this is what's happening. I would have given this verse to that person and said, hey, the reason why we are experiencing situations where babies die, because this is why the person said they didn't believe in God. Why do babies die? Why do terrible things happen? And there's a hypocritical statement within what that person said based off of the actions that I know them to have done. Because they fought in the oppressor's army. Right? And they cut a baby out of an Arab stomach one time. So you wonder why babies are dying, because you're in the oppressor's military doing the will of your father, the devil. That's one of the reasons why. You feel me? And you want to know why babies are dying. You're killing them because you're not in your rightful place. You're not in the army of the Lord. You're in the army of the devil. There's a man out there, and it's the guy with the glasses, if you could put him on the screen. This dude's name is Solomon Friedman. This guy is someone who is in the Israeli community, or is someone who reads the Torah and Tanakh. They are a person that is considered a rabbi. And I'm not just saying this. There's a website that is putting that out there. And let me go ahead and just give you the article. Let me see. His name is Solomon Friedman, and OttawaCitizens.com is the one who featured him in one of their articles. And it said, and this person, I'm gonna give you the name, or Salaki, I'm gonna give you what he's attributed to. So this person is a lawyer, an ordained rabbi, and a father of three. So he's an ordained rabbi. So he reads the Torah and Tanakh, which is the Old Testament. He reads. So Leviticus 19 and 29, if you can get that for me. This person is tasked with being on a mission to save Pornhub, but yet he's a father of three. He is he's a rabbi. This is when it comes to these people who are influential, these influential people. And we're going to continue to touch on these topics for the time that we have. But it says he's a father of three, but I would bet my last dollar that he wouldn't want his children on this site, because the people from this community, this rabbi considers everybody else outside of them goyim. I've heard videos of them saying that everybody else outside of them is like cattle, and they'll even reference Bible verses that are supposed to be applied to us, but they use it to actually take advantage of people and do evil things. You don't do, it says when the righteous rule, the people shall rejoice. People can't rejoice when you're ruling because you're wicked, and you will decide to take the scriptures and contort them to your own will. You will decide to save a website that has child abuse and non-consensual sex, involved with it. And then the same scriptures that you would try to use against people to take advantage, they say this, Leviticus 19 and 29.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 29. Do not prostitute thy daughter.
When we raise our children and our citizens to think that Pornhub is something that they should be on, we are contributing to our daughters being involved in whoredom. In Leviticus 19 and 29, these scriptures that this rabbi has access to speaks against what he's doing. This is a devil. Continue.
Lest the land fall to whoredom, to cause her to be a whore. Lest the land fall to whoredom.
You see what's going on. There is whores on top of whores. You got Sexy Red, Suki Hana, what's her name? The bald-headed scallywag married to Will Smith. Jada Pinkett. The land is falling to whoredom, where every immoral thing is something that you can do. I see all these shows, even those heathens on Fresh and Fit. They're trying to convince these girls that whoredom is a bad thing, but they're not in their natural state. They should be in servitude to the children of the Most High, and they're trying to educate them on who they should be. The wicked are in rule, therefore the people are going to mourn. You're going to have fathers and mothers who don't want their daughters in this type of industry, and things like non-consensual sex is going to happen. Disease is going to happen. Child abuse. They're sharing child abuse. And Solomon Friedman's excuse, this rabbi's excuse is, well, we got to fix this to make sure it doesn't end up on the dark web. We got to clean up the pee industry. If the United States and other governments wanted to shut this down, they could. They're making all types of malware and brute force attacks and all these things. As a matter of fact, I won't give you the exact name now. I'll bring it up later. But there are situations where there are, toolkits, or there's things that are being used by our federal government to hack and physically shut down power sources for people that have fallen into the wrong hands. You can do that type of evil, but you can't shut down the dark web. You can't shut down servers that aren't operating under certain circumstances that should be in good faith. This is a lie. The dark web is there for a reason. The dark web is there so people in high places can continue to do evil, to sell children, to sell organs. Solomon Friedman is a devil and a part of the synagogue of Satan. What more can I say about the guy? And I know this father of 3 wouldn't want his children in there. Salaki, if we can move on. Go ahead, sir.
I just want to point out that since you're talking about adult films, Commander General Yohana has a lecture that he's doing November 25th.
Oh, Most High Christ.
It says, are video games and adult films stealing your man? Shameless plug. So he'll be talking about the adult.
Absolutely. Clap it up for Commander General Yohana. Because as much as brothers want to, get that video game controller, sit in front of that TV, or get that Jergens, you're messing yourself up, and you're actually taking yourself away from your woman, and your woman's losing a part of her man when you indulge in that too much. It's taking away a man's natural state, and it's causing psychological damage to you.
Right.
Let me get Isaiah 65 and 20, because children are dying. Evil stuff is happening. And people like Solomon Friedman are living long lives while children are being ripped out of their mother's stomach by the hundreds of thousands and being trafficked. But this is what's going to happen in the future. Let's read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 20. There shall be no more thence an infant of days.
So you aren't going to be young in your days. When you're following the Most High, you're not going to die as a child. You're not going to die as a 20-year-old. You're going to make it out of your mother's womb, and you'll be blessed. Continue.
Nor an old man have not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old.
You're going to be hundreds of years old, or 100 years old before you die, which is a good thing. Not many people even live past that with everything that's going on. Continue.
But the sinner,
but Solomon Friedman,
being 100 years old, shall be accursed.
There's going to be a payment when you break these laws, statutes, and commandments in the future. There's going to be a recompense like you couldn't believe. I'm not even going to get descriptive on what I would do if I caught somebody doing something like this. But at the end of the day, we can't have the land fall into whoredom and I don't want my daughter to be sexy. I don't have a daughter, but wouldn't want my daughter to be sexy red, nor would I marry one. Let's move on to the next part of the topic, which is pretty much the agendas of the rich politicians and influencers. If we can get, let me see. I will start out with James 2, 1 through 3, because Colin Kaepernick, he spoke up against police brutality.
Right.
I didn't see many celebrities having his back. I didn't see many instances where people were ready to sacrifice watching football because Black people are getting brutalized in the streets. I didn't see that. Okay, it's fun to eat nachos and eat wings and watch, prime time coach a football game. But it's less fun getting cracked over the head. That I don't know Colin Kaepernick personally, but the brother put it on the line, put his job on the line, and he stood tall. He stood 10 toes down with it. But influencers, they're able to get the agendas of politicians on. They're able to, get our ears and have us listening. We didn't much listen to Colin Kaepernick because he lost that shine. He didn't have a lot of support. He didn't have a lot going on. Yeah, people was with him for a second, but it was over. Let's read James 2, 1 through 3.
It's the book of James, chapter 2 and verse 1. My brethren, have not the faith of our Lord Yahweh in Christ, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons. For if there come into your assembly a man with a gold ring and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect of him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there, or sit here under my footstool.
So what this is saying that people of Israel, people of the world, when I say Israel, of course, us blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, but we respect that person that has the gold on, the nice clothes, the person that has influence, the rich person, and we treat them differently. Their opinion is completely different than a poor man's opinion. When I'm out in the street talking, when my brother's out in the street talking, people rarely want to lend an ear and stand up. They rarely want to hear it. When Kanye had something to say about the Jews being black, everybody perked up. Kanye makes Yeezys. Kanye got designer clothes that he makes. He's rich. He's a billionaire, or was. I don't know what his status is now, but people perked up and listened. They wanted to hear it because a rich man had this to say. They treated him a lot different. But on the other hand, a poor man is treated and put in a different place. Exactly. Let's get Ecclesiastes 13 and 23. When Israel and Hamas went at it, there were, and let me just make sure I don't have anything in the chat real quick while you find that.
13 and 3?
Khan, yes. Ecclesiastes 13 and 3. So you have 700 celebrities who signed an open letter in support of Israel. I can only imagine what community reached out to them to say, hey, sign this open letter, and got 700 celebrities on one accord to say, hey, let's give our support of Israel and let's get this in a good light, because we're going to be bombing the turbans off these people over there. And we need your opinion to show that you agree with what we're doing. But when a poor man says, hey, what they're both doing over there is wrong, nobody really wants to listen. You have to have riches. You have to have some type of hold on something in order for your opinion to be valid in this world, and that's wrong. Go ahead and read that for me.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 13 and verse 3. The rich men have done wrong, and yet he threateneth withal. The poor is wrong, and he must entreat also.
And Salaki, I said 13 and 3, didn't
I?
I meant 23.
23?
Yeah, 13 and 23. Salaki for that.
No problem. Verse 23. When the rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue.
When Kanye spoke, people was listening. That's why the so-called, or I'm not even gonna say so-called, that's why the little hats were upset, because people were willing to listen to Kanye's $1 billion behind talking about the Jews were black. When what's his name? The basketball player. He's a little weird, but he shared a book about
Kyrie.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving. He wrote Hebrews the Negroes or something like that. When he shared that, they knew that that's a rich man. They have wisdom enough to know that when a rich man talks, people are going to listen. You got DJ Envy and Caesar Penna talking about real estate. People listen to that, and apparently people lost their money. They're calling it a scam now. Anything somebody gets behind when they're rich, you're going to say, oh, he's rich. I can be rich if I do that. Or, oh, my opinion should match up with his because he's rich. Mark Lamont Hill, this is an influencer. He most likely has I haven't checked his bank account, but he's probably rich. And he's telling us to support Palestine. I see influencers that are on like streams and Twitch or whatever, and they're yelling free Palestine on their Twitches. But continue to read.
And look what he said. They extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this?
They're like, whose man's is this?
Right.
Who is this boy talking? He got on FUBU. He got on sneakers that don't have a Nike check on it. He doesn't have designer on it. He's not rich. Who is that? Read that again from the top.
When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look what he said, they extol it to the clouds.
They whatever he says is lifted up to the clouds. Whatever that rich man says is going to be something good. There's something else I forgot to mention, because I was talking about influencers. In that article, and we'll get right back to this, that dude, Solomon Friedman, he was described as somebody who is A magnate. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up so we can go ahead and get clarity on it. But it means somebody who is like influential. And I'll go ahead and play the pronunciation in the mic real quick. Magnate. A wealthy and influential person, especially in business. I wanted to just circle back to that because this dude is wealthy and he's influential. And right now, I bet you there's going to be people saying, yeah, you know what? We should make sure that the sexual activity on the web is safe. We should. This rabbi is doing the right thing for investing and turning around the culture of Pornhub. Instead of speaking against it and not turning the land to whoredom, you have this rich, wealthy, influential man speaking up for it, going explicitly against Leviticus 19 and 29.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what they've given to us is going to turn on their heads. Let's read that one more time because this really pisses me off when I hear somebody rich that don't make a bit of sense, like Amari Stoudemire saying, if we as blacks don't support the Israelis because they were locked in cages and they were kidnapped, then F us. Let's go ahead and read that again.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 13 and 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue.
They don't talk, they listen. They're going to say, yo, you know what? I'm gonna listen. There's a lot of people who were talking about they would have a dinner with Jay-Z over $500,000. Are you out your mind? $500,000? Jay-Z himself said, nah, you should take the 500,000. Like, you should be taking the 500,000. What's he going to tell you to get to that money? And then you have Rick Ross doubling down on it, saying, I would take the 500,000. Whoop-de-whoop. Brother, you already have money. You have enough to invest back in yourself and lose it and get it back. Continue.
Come. And they extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this?
Who is this?
And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him.
Look, you messed up. You messed up on what you said. I know you tried to correct it, but it's too late. Nah, sit your behind down somewhere you don't know what you're talking about. All right. I was telling Kaash I was going to end it, but I think we can do another 2 hours and go over the time. No, if I can get Habakkuk 2 and 12, and then we're going to end it on that. Habakkuk 2 and 12. Let me see. Make sure I'm not missing anybody in the chat. I don't know if I said Robert Carr checked in. What's going on? Shalom Yahba Shimi Al Shabrakatah. Let me see.
You said 12 and 2, correct? Or 2 and 12?
2 and 12, Salakia.
Gotcha.
I was looking for one more thing, but I don't believe it's on here, but it's 12. And you can go ahead and read that whenever you're ready. But right now, there's a lot that's going on in the Middle East. We talked about Ukraine. We talked about Russia with Vladimir, with his dancing behind, begging for more money. Vladimir, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop begging. It would be better to die than be a beggar is what the scriptures say. And right now they've caused our people to be beggars. So we don't need to be involved in your war. We need to be involved in our own. The war on crime and the war on drugs was literally a divisive way to put a war on blacks.
Absolutely.
Salakia, I said Habakkuk, but I do just want to get 2 verses talking about crafty counsel that I just did want to mention because it ties into the influencers, and then we'll go ahead and drop it after the Habakkuk. So we'll just do 3 more verses Salakia, and I think we can get out of here in a good time. But there's crafty counsel against the children of Israel. And one of the things crafty counsel is using your own people against you, getting celebrities to speak on something, and you're none the wise that the celebrities don't care. They just want the bread. They just want to get a bag. They don't care that what they're doing is going to hurt their people in the long run. They don't care that their opinion doesn't even match up with what they're being told to say. There's just a stronger entity behind them that can stop the flow of money to them saying, hey, I need you to say this. I need you to speak on Israel. Or, hey, I need drugs to go in the Black community because if they stand up on their feet, there's not going to be enough murders to enrich, our society, because it's $400,000 per murder. The black bodies are dropping. There's a lot of money with these 350,000 bodies that are being taken from a Black, Hispanic, and Native American mother's womb. If we stop criminal activity, they're going to lose billions. If we stop sinning against the Lord, they're going to lose a lot of money, but there is crafty counsel that goes into it. Let's go ahead and read Psalms. I believe this is 83:3. Baba Kashan.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Against the Lord's children. Continue.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
We're hidden because people don't really know that we're the children of Israel. We can drop that and move to Psalms 2 through 3. Just to understand how deep that message is in Psalms. Crafty counsel is almost like, imagine in today's terms, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but it's like a think tank where a group of people come together and they devise a plan. But and they're devising a plan against us. This is the definition of crafty in the Oxford languages. It says clever at achieving one's aims, indirect or deceitful Salaki. Let me just read it because it blanked out for a second. I read something else. Clever at achieving one's aims by indirect or deceitful methods. They're using deceitful methods to trick us out of our position with the Lord. Let's read Psalms 2 through 3.
The book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together.
So this is the nations on earth that are doing this against us. Yeah, they're fighting amongst each other, but at one point in time, they were all on one accord destroying us. And even when they are fighting us, they know that they should disrespect us. They know that they should hold us down in a manner to where we can't get up. They know when they come to our neighborhoods to make money off of us and not let the black dollar circulate in a manner to enrich our people. Continue.
Against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder.
Let us stop them from coming together and doing what they need to do. I think Officer Salakia, Captain Zion had brought this out. Our bands being together would be brotherhood and sisterhood. It would be me making sure Ka'ash is good and Ka'ash making sure I'm good. Something happens to Ka'ash, I can cover for him. Like, let's say if I lose my job, Ka'ash is like, don't even sweat it. I got you. We're going to hold it down. And then the next brother's going to hold it down until we're up. We have a system where we're helping each other. Right. But out in the world, we don't have that. It's every man for himself, crabs in a barrel. Any more on that?
Come.
What?
Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
That's it. So the children of Israel have been destroyed. We don't have a land. We're going to end it with Habakkuk 2:12 through 15. Because right now, there is a bastard that dwells in Ashdod. There are people that are calling themselves Palestinians, which is Greek for Philistines. And the Israelis are not the children of Israel. And the Palestinians are not really the Philistines. Those are other people that are just in that landmass, and they shouldn't be over there. And that land was taken in a manner to where our people was destroyed, and it is blood-soaked. The land is blood-soaked with our blood. The land over here is blood-soaked with the children of Israel. And let's go ahead and read that, and we'll end it there.
It's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
Destruction to him that would go over to Israel and destroy other people to build their cities, their towns, would come to America and build their cities, their colonies, their stores, their towns, to where there are bones of actual Native Americans under the ground. Every day is Halloween in this kingdom, if you didn't know that. Like there's a murder, there's something weird, scary going on.
Right.
There's so much more that I would want to say, but we're limited because the oppressor wants to be crafty and deceitful and not letting everybody get their message across like they want to. But continue.
and establish a city by iniquity.
In sin, establishing a city, stealing a man, and stealing his land. Continue.
Verse 13, behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire.
It's not for us to labor for no reason and to labor unto death and then pretty much receive nothing from that, especially in this land, the land of the north. Continue.
And the people shall weary themselves for very vanity.
For falsehood, to think we would weary ourselves and think that we could be equal with this monster, right, when the monster doesn't even want to be equal with you. Right now, the Palestinians are getting bombed. The Israelis are getting kidnapped. But ask them, do they want to be a black man? No, of course not. They'll take their pride and their heritage over what we have any day. Continue.
14. For the earth shall be filled with knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea.
We're going to get this word out, and people are going to start to know what's going on. Continue.
15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth the bottle to him, and makest him drunken also.
Salakia, we can drop it. That wasn't even supposed to be the Salakia. But anyway, so that concludes the class. The message of the day, even though this is the law class, to serve the Lord, remember, brothers and sisters, there's going to come a point in time to where all we have is each other, because everybody on earth hates us, and they have taken deceitful measures to be on one accord to make sure we are down. That concludes our class. I'm going to pass it over to priest and officer, Ka'ach.
This is the ISUPK security announcements. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21. Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Ma'ashara, which means a tenth in Hebrew. A 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest fund is a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like to give. The upcoming holy convocations is a feast of dedication, which starts December 7th. It's on a Thursday, December 7th. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, they should start wearing black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, men of Israel, Amazing Shabbat, Amazing Barak,
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakadom.
Yazmatar, Sar, face the sisters, Amazing. Men of Israel, Amazing Shabbat, Amazing Barak, Shalom,
Yahweh Shamar, Aladom, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai.
Yazmatar, class dismissed.
Yeah, better, right? I'm going to be stumbling.